My mom left me at the airport when I was 15 so she could vacation with her new family. I watched her board the plane while I sat alone with a brand new suitcase. For 10 years, it was just us. Cheap wine, cereal for dinner, late nights on a broken couch watching reruns. She used to say, "You and me, kid," like that phrase could replace a real life. Then she met Richard Caldwell, and overnight, I stopped being enough. He pulled up in a black Mercedes with that fake smile rich guys practice in the mirror. Suddenly, she's curling her hair for client meetings, buying perfume that costs more than our rent, talking about his kids like they were trophies. Two perfect prep school angels from Connecticut. She showed me pictures, matching outfits, beach houses, parties with live bands. I started feeling like a stranger in my own home. One July evening, she burst through the door, glowing. "Pack your bags, we're going to Santorini." Richard booked a villa with a private pool and a chef. "Family vacation," she said. I nodded, pretending not to feel sick. The morning we left, she handed me a new navy suitcase. "You should look more put together," she said. We drove to JFK, her and Richard laughing in the front seat, sipping iced coffee, talking about Greek sunsets while I stared out the window, trying not to exist. The airport was chaos. People shouting, pretzels, perfume, jet fuel, stress. We reached check-in. Richard said, "Deborah, we should be in the first-class line." Mom looked at him, then at me. Something changed in her face. "Rowan, can I talk to you for a second?" We stepped aside by a vending machine. She stared straight at me and said, "You're not coming." For a second, I actually laughed. "You're dumping me at the airport? Don't be dramatic. You're 15. You'll figure it out." "Figure out what? You cut everyone off when you met him." She shrugged. Actually shrugged. "This is how it has to be." I stood there for a few seconds, waiting for her to take it back. The hum of the vending machine filled the silence. Then she turned her back, joined Richard and his kids at the counter, and never looked back. I sat on a bench near departures, clutching that stupid suitcase. Couldn't cry. Couldn't think. Every family walking past looked like a different version of what I'd never have. Kids arguing over snacks, parents juggling passports, normal life right in front of me. I felt invisible. My phone's at 12%, $40 in my pocket. I scrolled through contacts, classmates I barely knew, old neighbors, our dentist's office, nobody. Then I saw it at the very bottom. Bryce Marks, my dad, the guy who left when I was 9. We hadn't spoken in 6 years, but I was out of options. I called. The phone rang twice. Each ring felt like a year. When his voice finally came through, it didn't sound angry. It sounded scared. 3 hours later, I watched a private jet land at JFK. The door hissed open and heat from the engines hit my face. My father stepped out in a tailored suit, eyes tired but kind. He walked straight to me and said, "I should have come sooner." He didn't hug me, just put a hand on my shoulder and steered me toward the car. That night, we barely spoke. The silence wasn't awkward. It was relief. Every few minutes, he'd glance over like he was checking if I was still there, and I realized he was just as scared to lose me as I'd been to be left. For the first time that day, I stopped shaking. That week, he enrolled me in a private school near his place in Boston, bought me clothes, a laptop, everything I needed, took me to his lawyer's office where I signed papers I barely understood. For the first time in years, I felt ordinary. Homework, hot meals, someone asking how my day was. Ordinary felt like luxury. He never once made me feel like a burden. When Mom got back from Greece, she walked into our townhouse and froze. My room was empty. She must have rehearsed this moment. Maybe she pictured hugs, maybe tears. Instead, there was silence and an envelope on the kitchen table from Dad's lawyers with a note that said, "He figured it out." The air still smelled like her perfume, faint but sharp. I stood there picturing 15-year-old me waiting by that vending machine, and I knew that kid would have smiled if he'd seen this day coming. She called me 17 times that night. I didn't answer once. 2 days later, she showed up at my dad's building screaming about kidnapping until security escorted her out. The court sided with him. Turns out, abandoning your kid at an international airport doesn't look great to a judge. I don't hate her anymore. Hate's heavy, and I've carried enough weight. People tell you forgiveness is for yourself, not them. Maybe that's true. But some wounds heal better left as scars, reminders of who you used to be. I just wish she'd said sorry once, not to fix it, but to admit it happened. Some nights, when flights pass over my house, I still glance up, and every time I'm grateful I got left behind. She left me at an airport. I found my home anyway. Because sometimes the people who leave you don't destroy your life. They hand it to the person who'll finally protect it.